For anybody who has signed up and would like to see and can't make it live, you'll have the recording and you'll be able to watch everything. So yeah, great. I'm so glad everyone's here. This is I always say this is my favorite meeting of the month. I really enjoy geeking out on LinkedIn with everybody. Again, welcome everybody. I'm going to share my screen real quick because I have a short little Canva presentation to share. Let's see if I can get over there. There we go. And hit present mode. This always takes a moment. There we go. Great. So what is your goal? This is where I like to start. So all social media platforms, including LinkedIn, have their own goals. And it's important to recognize that the platform's goals are not necessarily your goals. And so, it's easy to get hung up on, getting that dopamine hit and seeing those numbers climb and that kind of thing. But you have to consider whether those numbers that you're looking at actually correlate with the goals that you're actually interested in seeing. So LinkedIn is a networking platform. That's first and foremost. A lot of people think of social media as a place to really promote their stuff. And that might be true of some platforms, like Instagram. If you're selling a product, then absolutely take a bunch of beautiful pictures of it and sell that product like crazy on Instagram. That's a great use of Instagram. But LinkedIn is more of a professional networking platform, which means it's best used if you're not just promoting yourself. I think you should promote. Absolutely, there's time and space for promoting and talking about your services and talking about your clients and all of that. But it's not best used purely as a promotional platform. So one of my big goals on LinkedIn is to start conversations. So what that means is I'm looking for the number of comments on my posts to go up. I'm sort of looking for an average number of comments, maybe. If I'm getting 10 or 20 comments, then I'm pretty happy. If I'm getting more than that, that's awesome. And that number also includes my responses to other people's comments on my post. So if people are commenting on your posts, I do recommend that you reply to every comment. I don't reply to every single comment. If a comment is just like, great post, I might just give it a like rather than writing some kind of dissertation just to make myself feel good and listen to myself talk. But you can certainly bump up your comments by responding to comments, and that also will force the algorithm to show your post to more people. So you can add to the number of comments, and that's a good thing. I generally follow a sort of 80-20 rule. So 80% I'm trying to increase awareness about what I'm doing and engage with people, educate my audience, that kind of thing. So that means I'm not explicitly selling 80% of the time. And then 20% of the time I'll say, yeah, I've got this LinkedIn hot seat going on, or, oh, here's how I work with my LinkedIn clients. Usually I'm not, it's not an ad that I'm posting. I'm almost never posting something that would look like an ad, but I'm adding value for my audience while I'm also saying, oh, and by the way, this is what I do for a living, that kind of a thing, just so people are aware of the services that you offer. The next thing to consider, it's not letting me go to the next slide. There we go. Metrics. Okay, so I mentioned before, the algorithm has the metrics that LinkedIn's algorithm has metrics that it wants you to pay attention to. It wants you to see those impression numbers because that's the thing that makes you stay on LinkedIn's platform, and that's LinkedIn's big goal. It wants everybody to stay on LinkedIn all day. So it's easy to sort of, that's the first number you see. It's shiny, it's exciting once you start working, being more consistent on LinkedIn, and you start to see those followers and connections growing. It gets very exciting. And those are certainly good numbers to watch, followers and connections, no doubt. I've sort of started thinking of like 5,000 as a kind of magic number. Once you reach 5,000 connections or followers, you seem to get a little bit of a bump in the algorithm. It becomes a little bit easier to gain visibility. So if you're below that number, that could be one of your goals, is to focus on building your connection numbers. The best way to do that, I always say to people, if you can connect with 5 to 10 people every day, that can help you kind of grow your connections. And by every day, I mean 5 days a week. I don't spend time on LinkedIn on the weekends most of the time. And I think 5 days a week is a perfectly good, reasonable number of days to spend on LinkedIn. So anytime you're on LinkedIn, if you're connecting with 5 to 10 people, you'll be surprised at how quickly those numbers will grow. And then the other three numbers to look at are profile views, search appearance views, and comments. And I'll show you how to see these numbers in just a second. I'll show you on my own profile. I mentioned the comment idea because I want to start conversations. I'm much more interested in the comment number than the number of just impressions, who's seeing the thing. By the way, to get an impression, I believe it's just 3 seconds of dwell time on your post. So if someone looks at it for 3 seconds, that counts as an impression. Now, what are they looking at? Are they reading it? Are they skimming it? Right? Anybody's guess, right? So that's why I don't see impression numbers as all that helpful for knowing how well I'm doing on LinkedIn or measuring my progress. It does tell you some things. Watching those impression numbers grow means that you are, reaching out and connecting with your audience. It means that they are dwelling on it, at least for 3 seconds. But, if they're leaving a comment, they've read it, right? In most cases, people won't comment unless they've read the full post, or at least read enough to have a comment to make, right? Understand something. So that's why I like the comment number as well, in addition to wanting to start comments. It just is an indication that you're talking to your audience in the right way. And then last on the list is reactions or impressions, reactions, which is like likes and the hearts and the clappy guy, the little emoticons, whatever you call those things. Those are always good to see. And again, that's an indication that you're connecting with your audience as well. Okay, so let me show you my LinkedIn page and I'll show you where you can see these metrics. Sorry, I don't even have my own open. Here we go. So there's a nice little dashboard on your profile that you can see. And these are the numbers I track weekly. The fun fact is that LinkedIn updates these numbers for you on the day of the week that you joined LinkedIn. So I think I joined on a Thursday. So I think my numbers update on a Thursday. You don't need to know that. What you need to know is that you want to make sure you're checking these numbers once a week on the same day of the week. So then you know that you're getting good numbers, you're getting accurate numbers. So it's right here, analytics. So you see profile views, right? The number of people who go to your profile. They could go to your profile for any number of reasons. They might have seen a post of yours and click on your profile. They might have searched for you in the search box and looked at your profile. These are people who've looked at it. And then search appearances, that's when somebody is typing something into the search box. That could be a keyword. It could be your name, and then going to your profile. So search appearances and profile views, I check those numbers and track them weekly. I want to see them going up, obviously. Post impressions, that's a good number. Again, this is a little bit of a vanity metric, right? This is the one LinkedIn wants you to see and light up your brain with your dopamine. But the problem with this number is it's an aggregate of the whole week. So it doesn't even tell you, oh, my post was really good this week. I got 5,000 views. No, that's over the whole week. I got 5,297 impressions on all my posts in the past 7 days. So, it's not a bad number to look at. I just don't track it because it's not as helpful. If you really want to know what posts are good, you want to go to the individual posts and look at those numbers and say, oh, look, this one about, about loving your branding, this post did really well. So I'm going to take note that my audience wants to hear more about that. That's a good thing to do. But looking at this number isn't as helpful. If you have creator mode turned on, which I do, you can tell because I have my hashtags there. And my followers is the default for me. If you have creator mode turned on, that will be true of you as well. Then you get access to putting a special direct link here. So that's something to keep in mind if you're wondering whether to use creator mode or not. The point of creator mode is supposed to help you grow your audience. And so it gives you some of these little special features. The other thing you get access to is some analytics around your posts that I think not everyone gets access to. So you can sort of see, oh, when did my post do well, or when was my audience paying attention, that kind of stuff. And you can even look at the past year. You can look at the past 90 days. It's just nice to see those trends. So that's another good sort of benefit of turning on creator mode. All right. Any questions before we jump into looking at profiles? And I'll stop sharing my screen for the moment.
Hi, how do you get those hashtags? I have creator mode on. I see I can add my website, which I didn't do, so thanks for the tip. But how do you add those hashtags?
Yeah, let me show you. Okay, so yes, you can see also because we're looking at my profile, you can see right there that I have creator mode turned on. So to get the hashtag, you go to the little pencil guide. That's where you edit your profile. You go down. There you can add your website. Oh, I know where it is. Sorry, I always make this mistake. It's actually where it says creator mode. There you can add your hashtags.
Got it. And then
Yeah.
do you research the hashtags ahead of time to see where it's just trending, and just like talk a little bit about how you decided on those?
Yeah, great question. Yes, you can certainly research hashtags. I do recommend doing that. To do that, there's a little trick for that as well. So you go to your search box and you use the hashtag. So if you're researching hashtags, you've got to put the hashtag in first, and then you can see like writing pops up right away for me. So you can use this a little bit to sort of guide you, like, oh, these look like interesting hashtags. And so to check out the actual numbers, don't hit return. Don't type writing and then hit return. That won't get you to numbers. You've got to pick it from the list here. You click on it, and it'll show you 85,191 followers. So I just do some very simple research on hashtags. If something is a little more
Do you want high, low? Like, how do you know? Because sometimes if you're like in a big fish, small pond,
Yeah,
what's the
exactly right.
strategy?
Yeah, like ghostwriting, that's what I am. That's very specific to what I do, but it's only 811 followers. But I'm still going to use it because it's specific to what I do. You might have a personal hashtag. It might be the name of your business, and it probably won't have very many followers at all. And that's fine too, because you can kind of grow the hashtag as you go.
So a mix.
And I don't want to go huge. It's not that helpful to have 2 million people following a hashtag. But remember, people they sign up to follow these. So it's not as if they're searching for a hashtag and then coming across your content most of the time. It's that they're following the hashtag, and then it's showing people, people in that hashtag, it's showing them certain posts. So it just kind of narrows the audience for you a bit. That's how.
Great, thanks. Awesome tips.
Yeah, sure. Great. Any other questions? All right. If not, I'm going to dive into the profiles here. So we've got Tessa first. I'll just go in order. If you haven't dropped your profile link in yet, go ahead and do that. And if I don't get to everybody today, don't worry. I'll send you a little video of your own profile if we run out of time. Let me see. Go ahead. Oh, there it goes. Share my screen again. All right, Tessa. All right, so let's see. First impressions, I like this little design. I assume that it's somehow related to the work that you do.
It's my it's my logo that
Okay.
I've never used the banner, and literally this week I was like, I gotta do something, and I gotta put some words in there, but I'm like, I'll just start with the logo.
Okay, cool.
But I would love your thoughts on like what information to put in the banner, like what's important.
Definitely, good question. So so let's see, do you have your own business? Do you have a business? Okay, so if you have a business name, I think that's a natural thing to put into your cover. You want to be a little bit careful. So I always look at my profile on mobile to make sure that it looks okay. Because the picture, your photo will move to the center on logo. On mobile. So if you put words in the middle, they're probably going to be covered up by your head. In fact, I think mine is not optimal at the moment. I think I have words in the middle. So I always recommend like sticking with the last third. So you write your business name. You could have your website there if you wanted to, although it's not going to be clickable, so that's not as helpful. But having the name of the business, and if you have like a tagline for your business so that people know kind of immediately what you do, that can be a good thing to have in the cover. Like you want it to be at a glance, people understand what you're doing. So that's what I would recommend. If you wanted to, okay, so you do public speaking and communication, you're a public speaking communication coach, TEDx organizer, private coaching and group workshops to help you and your team find the clarity and confidence to articulate your knowledge, expertise, and passion. Right. So this is good as written out, you know, that is a good thing for people to read. It's not as easy to speak out. So, you know,
Yeah,
I
and I'm like, it's
stumbled over
probably
some things.
too long.
It's a little long. I would break it up for sure.
Yeah.
So what you could do is private coaching and group workshops. You could use one of the little up and down guy, the vertical line,
Mhm.
and to add some separation, or you can do like you've done here with the emoticons. That's great. Private coaching and group workshops, and then I would say help your team find the clarity and confidence, or help your team find clarity and confidence. You know, I might stop there. Or you could have articulate your knowledge, expertise, and passion, you know, something. I would just kind of break it up and play with it a little bit. I like to experiment with headlines. I think of LinkedIn as a really great place to experiment with all kinds of content. And if you want to do that, you could change up your headline for a week, and then watch those search appearance numbers, watch those profile views, and see if they go up. And then change it up for another week, watch those numbers and see what happens. And then, you know, you can kind of pick from there. That's how I recommend experimenting with your headline. You've got your hashtags there. That's great. You've got your
I just put those in while we were talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, nice. And then you've got your website here. You might want to name it. You know, you might want to is your name, what's the name of the company?
Resonance.
Yeah. So you might want to say website Resonance, or you might just want to say Resonance, something like that, just because people see this and they're like, they might, you know, it's easier if they wrap.
Oh, okay, so you can change that. It doesn't have to be the web address. Like it can be a link.
Exactly
Okay.
right. Yeah, right below where you put in the URL, it says name or something.
Got
like
it.
that.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. Great. Okay, so followers, like I said, you know, you want to increase the number of followers as quickly as you can. If you get to 500, you get 500 plus on connections, so you're very close.
Yeah, I'm so close.
You'll get there soon. But that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, I would focus on audience growth for sure for you, because it looks like you're there to build the audience. The about section. So you get 2,600 characters in the about section, and I recommend using a lot of that real estate, because when people are checking you out, you know, they're going to read the about section naturally. If they go to your profile, they're going to look at that. Let's see. I believe everyone can be a wonderful public speaker. That's a great start. I like about sections to start with a sort of personal statement, or I believe kind of statement. So I'm often writing about sections like that. When we work together, I help you distill your thoughts to find what you really want to say, and then help you build the strategy to deliver it clearly, personally, and joyfully, whether you're delivering a speech, being interviewed, or interviewing, blah, blah, blah. Yep, cool. So the only thing I would say is you want to add, you might want to add some bullet points about the services that you offer.
Okay.
So that people can say, oh, how can she help me? I mean, yeah, I want to be a better public speaker, but what exactly do you do? You know, and this doesn't mention coaching as far as I can see. So you might want to add a bit in about.
Yeah, I don't know if I've updated that in a couple of months.
Sure. Okay, cool. Yeah, so think about that.
Okay.
I love that you've organized TEDx events. That's very cool. That's definitely something to highlight. And that's cool. The statistics are great. So definitely think about ways that you can highlight that. You might want to even move it up in the list of things that you talk about, just because I think that's going to catch people's eye. Ooh, a TEDx organizer who's actually coaching people to speak. That's very cool. You could set up your company page if you wanted to. That's the biggest advantage, is that you would get to have your logo there,
right?
Rather than the little fake thing, whatever, placeholder. This looks good. You've got descriptions filled out under each of these, which is important. The other thing I would recommend is recommendations. Getting some recommendations from clients is a great thing, and that's another place on your profile that people are going to jump to when they're looking at things. So if you can get some recommendations, that'll be really helpful. Cool. But this is looking good. I mean, I think you're on the right track. Your photo looks good. I like the background. And everything there. So yeah, I think you're in good shape. Any other questions?
Thank you. I just had one question about the subscription and what you think about in terms of like paying for LinkedIn services. I didn't, and then I have been, but every time I see that $75, I'm like,
Right. Yes. So my thoughts about LinkedIn Premium or Sales Navigator is that it's really good if you have a sales team and you have people who are dedicated, or a person who's dedicated to looking through there and seeing who can. I mean, the good thing about it is that you can see who's looked at your profile. You can't do that with the free version, and you can also do a lot more with the search. So if you are in a place where you're trying to really grow and get leads and you're trying to do some cold DMing or something like that, it can be really useful. And what I would recommend is, if you have it, take a bunch of, spend some time going through and getting a bunch of possible leads on a list that people you want to connect with, and then maybe stopping premium while you connect with them. Well, I don't know, maybe that's not the best advice, because I know that as you're connecting with them, you also get to see more when you have Navigator up. But you might want to, that's to say, you might want to take a break if you're not in specifically lead generation mode. So that's what I would recommend. I think it works best, and it's designed, in fact, to work for a sales team. It's designed to work for, I think it's not really designed very well to work for small businesses.
Right.
That's been my impression of it. I always think about turning on the trial mode every once in a while, so that I can see who's been looking at my profile, that kind of thing. But yeah, so that would be my recommendation.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, who's next? Joel, you.
So Emily, can I give like two
Yeah,
sentences
definitely.
of context?
Yeah.
So suddenly we're in complete restart mode. So for
Okay.
the last numerous years, I couldn't get any interest in anything but COVID, crypto, George Floyd, and DEI, and a little bit on the environment. And so for everybody's background, we have a new economic model to carry us from win-lose competition over money to win-win cooperation that raises up the whole world. So we touch on all issues. So all I want to say is everything's in remake mode, but I just wanted to hear all your thoughts as we go into that. We don't even have a new brand yet or a new website.
Okay. And tell me, is it a nonprofit?
No.
Okay.
We're going to be a consultancy, like
awesome.
Total Quality Management became the biggest consulting offering on the planet.
Okay. So it's a consulting firm. Okay, great. Inventor, paradigm shifter, social entrepreneur, economic futurist.
So this is more like thought leader presence.
Got you. Yeah.
Stage. That's going to change.
Yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. So I think keeping that in mind, then this headline makes sense. I think most of the time what I recommend for headlines is, I want to know exactly what you can do for me as soon as I look at your headline. So once those things become more clear to you, then I would start thinking about adding more of that into the headline for sure. Because this is a lot. There's a lot of possible ways that if I'm thinking about working with you, there are a lot of ways that I could be working with you, and you want to kind of narrow the funnel a little bit, like steer people into, just so that you're, speaking to exactly the people you want to be speaking to. So keep that in mind. That's good to think about. So your cover's a little busy for me. I can't read anything in these boxes. So I'm kind of like, what are these numbers? What's going on? Sustainable development goals. Great. Do you have that in your featured section at all? It looks like a graphic of some kind.
Yeah, it's familiar to people working on global sustainable economics.
Oh, I see. Okay, so these are general kind of goals that people might work toward. Yeah, so I would put this into the featured section just so that people can look at it if they want to, and be able to see with clarity what's going on there. Let me see if I blow it up, if it helps. Yeah, it's blurry. Yeah. So I'd put something different in the background for you. I don't know if you have if there's some kind of logo or event. Maybe you're still working on all those kinds of assets, but something like that could be great. There's another tip. Canva has a bunch of LinkedIn covers, so you can go and search on there and pull from that with just sort of just a placeholder if you wanted to have something there, and then update it when you have more of your marketing stuff figured out. That's what I would say. Great. Yep. You don't have creator mode turned on. Have you considered turning on creator mode?
I will now.
Okay. Yeah, maybe, I mean, as a thought leader, you know, if one of your goals is thought leadership, then that's not a bad idea to turn that on. Like I said, you get the hashtags, you get to put your website down here, or some other link that you want to be sharing with folks. The other thing to know about having creator mode turned on is that every post you create should have at least one of your hashtags in it. And then the other thing that the algorithm likes to see with creator mode turned on is having you feature posts. So at least once a week, you want to be clicking a feature button on your post. So you can do that. Your posts will have 3 dots at the top right. Anytime you post something, if you look at it, it'll have 3 dots. And if you go there and look, it'll say feature on top of profile, and you can choose that. So about once a week, you should be doing that if you have creator mode turned on. Okay, so about section. Oh, good. So you've used up a lot of this space here, so that's great. How can we make the world work for 100% of humanity in the shortest possible time through spontaneous cooperation without ecological damage or disadvantage to anyone? Okay, you're starting with a quote. That's not a bad thing. That sort of, you know, orients people to your values right away. It's a little bit of a mouthful. I don't know. Again, it works better in print, I think, than when I'm speaking it out. Just something to consider, because someone's eyes might get a little lost as they're reading that. But it might be, you know, I might not take it out. I might leave it, but maybe not start with it. I might start with more of what Tessa had, like a I believe statement, or here's what we're trying to do kind of a thing, just so immediately people are like, oh, what's this guy up to? That's a good thing to consider. The ingredients to meet Fuller's challenge are already at hand. Okay. Please watch a 10-minute video. Okay. Yeah, you're directing people what to do. That's good. That's smart. Okay, so DEI stuff. Okay. The new economics. Okay.
It's pretty deep stuff without a pilot to point at. So it's, I get that we're so far at a disadvantage, but we've had pilots that only couldn't scale for lack of technology. Now the technology exists local to global across the whole world. So we're gonna look completely different, hopefully in a month.
In a month or so. Yeah. So, you know, then come back to it when all of that is figured out, I would say.
Exactly.
And then try to make sure that's very clear. Yeah. So what I would say is break a lot of this up. I don't know that it's bad information, but like, I want to see, like, I should be keying in on 25-year overnight success story, like some of the stats you have in here, 10-minute video, but hundreds of millions of people in the US, like that, those kind of stats, I think your audience is going to be interested in. That's going to catch their eyes. So think about how you can kind of highlight that, maybe with bullet points.
Is there a way to make anything bold in this section, or to hashtag it, or not really?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you can do anything bold. But you know, so I use white space to make things more readable, just breaking things up.
I get the message that less is more here in a lot of cases.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I don't know that this is bad information. I just think it needs to be reformatted just so that it's more readable, because people tend to glaze over when they see walls of text on social media. So, you know, just try to pull out the pieces that are most eye-catching for your audience and make those really clear. Cool. Let's see. Yep. And you've got some recommendations here. That's good. That's great. So you might want to get some more recent recommendations. Last one's from almost 3 years ago. So just, you know, think about that if you have, and that might come also with, that might also come with once you get more of your company straight, and once you're figuring out, you know, what the marketing is going to look like, then it might make sense to reach out and get some recommendations.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, great. All right, let's go back to the chat. All right, Amanda, hello. I know you've made some changes since we last were here.
Yeah, thanks for taking another look.
Definitely. Oh, I love it. I love the cover.
It's the first cover photo I've been so happy with.
Cool. I really like that. Yeah. Did you do it yourself?
I did.
That's awesome. I wish I had that kind of talent. I hired a designer to do my cover, which was amazing. She gave me like 3 different ones, and I'll be rotating them in and out. I love it.
Nice. Well, I found somebody whose cover I really liked and then used that
as a template. Oh,
as a
cool,
template.
smart. Yeah, that's very smart. Yeah, cool. And did you make it in Canva?
I did.
Yeah, okay, cool. So this is the example of the kind of thing you can make in Canva, and you know, if you have basic design skills, you know, it doesn't take much, right? Yeah, cool. Journal your way to a life you don't want to vacation from. I love that line. I think that's perfect to describe what you do, and it's so great. Name of your program, Good Things Come to Those Who Journal. That's awesome. One-on-one coaching, group programs, and workshops. So this is a really great example of what a cover can be, right? It tells you exactly what Amanda does. Amanda, have you looked at it on mobile? To see
I
what
have not.
Okay, so that's something to consider. I imagine your face is going to be over your face, which maybe that's not a bad thing. That might be the best of all possible worlds. It shouldn't be covering up your words. So that's good, but it's just something to consider, because it's something like 65% of LinkedIn users use mobile app exclusively. So it's actually a majority of people. I always forget that because I mostly use my desktop for LinkedIn. Good things come to those who journal. That's great. You've got 220 characters for your headline, so you could add a bit more here. I know that you are, you have a full-time 9-to-5 job and you don't really talk about that on LinkedIn at all. So it may not be relevant. Other people who are doing something on the side and have 9-to-5, they may want some of that in their headline. So that's, something to consider. I would like to see you maybe give yourself a title of some kind, just because, I think this explains what you could call yourself journal coach, or you could, something very simple like that. Just so that, again, people immediately know what you do when they see it, and rather than trying to decipher, oh, she likes journaling. Like, what does that mean? Right? Because if they don't know that this is the name of your program, they might just think, oh, she's an advocate for journaling. That's cool, right? Rather than, oh, but actually, right, she does the coaching, she does the group programs, right? She actually does a lot with journaling outside of just loving to journal herself. So that's what I would say. I would have like journal coach, or, something like that. Lifelong journaler, I don't know, something that gives kind of your credentials for what you're doing. That would be one thought. Let's talk journaling. I like that. So there's a good label for a direct link. That's cool. Like, it tells you people, like, we're gonna connect with Amanda if we click on this link. We're gonna find some time to chat with her. So I like that. It's eye-catching too. Let's see. About good things come to those who journal. That's what they say. Okay, that's what I said. So now I can say that's what they say. Good. And it's true. I like the humor. I love a little bit of humor and personality injected into the about section. So don't be afraid of that. I think a lot of people treat their about sections as an extension of their resumes. But if you have, you can treat your about section, as far as I'm concerned, as a little bit of a blog post about yourself, or as a post about yourself. So yeah, I really like this vibe. Journaling opens doors. Yeah, benefits of journaling. That's awesome. Maybe you've tried it. Maybe you've gotten frustrated. So you're hitting on pain points there. Yeah, more pain points. My mission is to help you use journaling to find the pieces of you that you've been missing, to find joy and learn to love yourself more fully, to help you understand how you can journal your way to a life you don't want to vacation from. I love that. You might want to move the mission up. Might be okay, because again, like, this is really talking about you more than your program. So, if you wanted to start out with that, even that could work. Or if you wanted to have it just right under good things come to those who journal, my mission is to, I think that could be good. Help people jump right into what you're doing here. Yep. Send me a DM to get the conversation started. I like that. Also, I always recommend having a call to action in your about section. You could put your email address there if you wanted to. It's not hard for people to find your email address through your contact info, but it's an extra click. That's what the advantage of having the direct link there is. Instead of having to go to your contact info and then find your website, they get it right there, or whatever it is. So I definitely recommend having a call to action at the end of your about section. And it could just be connect with me, or, DM me like Amanda has, or send me an email, whatever it is. If you have a freebie, you could even pop that in there with the link. Book a discovery session here. Oh, then she's got her link to the consult there. Cool. This isn't clickable, just so you know. I mean, I know you have it clickable above, but that's something to consider. There you go, journaling coach. It says it right there. Cool. And then you've got your company page set up. That's awesome. Skills, cool. And you've got recommendations, and those are very much up to date. Awesome. Yep. Yeah, looks good. Any questions?
I don't think so. Other than, can you talk through your thoughts about a cover video? I filmed a video last summer and I need to revamp it. I wondered your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the video feature is really cool. I personally have never, I don't think I've ever looked at one. So I don't know, maybe we could take a poll if anybody else looks at those videos. I mean, I do think it's a good feature, and I think people who like them are always looking at them. So I think it's a good thing to have, and it's probably a smart idea to update it, you know, every year or so. Just like I would recommend updating your about section about, you know, every 90 days. I feel like I could update mine every 90 days. Like if I read something I wrote 90 days ago, I'm like, ooh, this could use a little, because my brain has moved past, you know, some of that older stuff. So yeah, you know, and I think a video is great when you get 30 seconds or something to just sort of tell people about yourself. Yeah, if you're into video, certainly makes sense to do it. Personally, I don't love video. I don't love talking to to my video, and so I don't do it. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. I don't think it's a bad thing to have it done.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Stacy. Make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. Oh, good. Stacy looked at it on mobile, so she can give you some thoughts there. All right, Stacy. Share my screen.
I made some updates while you've been talking, so thank you.
I love that. That's great. All right. I love the cover. Rev Up Advisory, name of your business. It's time to rev up your RevOps. That's perfect. It tells people exactly what you do. Got your little tagline there. It's what I like is it's simple, it's clear, it looks amazing. Look at it on mobile. Your head might cover up this bit a little bit. That might not be such a big deal. But just, you know, just be aware of that. You could certainly, you know, this is big enough. You could certainly shrink it if you wanted to move things over. I wouldn't shrink the tagline. That's a good size for the tagline, I would say. But yeah, just check it out on mobile if you haven't. Okay, developing the right RevOps infrastructure for your business. So RevOps, I'm not in the industry. I'm not familiar with what does RevOps stand for? Is it like review ops?
No, it's revenue operations.
Revenue. Okay. I should have guessed that. Got you. That's cool. Now the question is whether your audience knows that, and as long as they do, then that's fine. You know, then I have no problem with you using that terminology. So that's good. Develop the right revenue ops infrastructure for your business, strategic advisory, and go to market strategy. That's good. Yeah. Creating operational efficiency by developing deep tech stack knowledge. Cool. Okay. I'm getting a sense for what you do. I think all of this is very clear. Yeah, and definitely, you know, just keep in mind what your
I'm constantly changing that, like honestly once a month, because I just don't know if it resonates. So I just changed this one a few weeks, like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I would say whenever you do that, just watch your numbers. You know, watch your profile views, watch your search appearance numbers. Those are the numbers that should change based on this. And, you know, as long as those are steady or they're rising, then you're in good shape and you don't have to worry too much about it. But I understand, like, I have a tendency to want to change mine that often as well. And so I will sometimes, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but just keep an eye on your numbers and see, you know, again, LinkedIn is a great place to experiment with this kind of stuff. So if you find something that's really resonating with people, you know, stick with it. Yeah. Cool. You've got your website link there. You've got your hashtag.
I just added that. Thanks to you.
Cool. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a little trick that a lot of people don't know about. And I believe it's only available to people with creator mode turned on. So that's another advantage to having that on. Cool. Featured stuff. That looks good. Yeah, I don't really talk too much about featured. So like I said, if you have creator mode turned on, you want to be featuring posts pretty regularly. I kind of try to stick with like like 6 things in my featured. I don't know how many you can have, maybe 20, something like that. I try to keep around 5 or 6 because I just think there's no reason to have a bunch of old posts up there. But that's one of the things that they recommend for the algorithm when you have creator mode turned on, is featuring posts about once a week. But then also, like you have here, the 5 myths about RevOps, like pieces that are kind of keystone pieces for you, or pieces that you would share, part of your freebie set or something like that you would share with people regularly. Those are good things to have in your featured section. So that's great. All right, about section. Stacy's a unique unicorn.
It's talking in third person, so I'd love your thoughts there.
Yes, I was just about to say. So a lot of people recommend third person. I say first person because I think what people want on LinkedIn is a little personal. They want you to get a little personal. So they want to hear your story. So that's what I recommend. I recommend using first person, but I know that there are people who disagree with that. So I will say that. But I like this, that you're a unique unicorn. That's cool. That makes me think, oh, that's interesting about you. That's an interesting thing to say. Bridges the gaps between strategic vision and how to scale systems to grow your revenue. Okay, Stacy will work as a fractional executive. Okay, part of your leadership. Okay. Key pieces of business need to scale. Working with executive teams to work through obstacles, gaps, or blind spots within the company. Stacy brings 25 years of experience. Cool. So this is something you might want to add to your headline at some point.
Okay.
I've seen lots of people.
The top.
Yeah, 25 years working with 100 go-to-market strategy companies, or whatever, something like that. Yeah. Okay. Working across. Yeah. Yep. You could also add this to your headline if you wanted to. Yeah, some people really love to see those statistics and it'll like grab them. Yeah, and again, it depends a bit on your audience and how much they care about those numbers. She's a true trailblazer. That's cool. Drop me DM. So you've got a CTA there. You've got your email address. That's awesome. Yeah, and so you've got sort of your keywords down here. That's cool. That's a good way to help people find you in your search appearances. So you can play around with these words if you wanted to, like see what's gonna get people to check you out. Let me see what your hashtags are. Efficiency, operations, growth strategy. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I feel like you've covered a lot of ground here, and that's really good. I think it's really clear what you do. You're doing some, you're helping with operations. You're a fractional executive. I think that's interesting. Hopping into your leadership team and helping you get things straight. That's really cool. Yeah, I think this works. I think it works. I would put it in first person. I would tell a bit about your story. You might want to talk a little bit about your philosophy about revenue ops. If you have unique thought leadership around this stuff to talk about, that's not a bad thing to have in your about section, because if you're thinking about who's looking at your about section, they're like, ooh, I want to hire someone like Stacy, but I'm also looking at your competition and like I'm looking for ways to differentiate. So just consider your value proposition or whatever, and have that into your add that into your about section. You got some recommendations. You could get some more recent recommendations. That would be smart. I like how LinkedIn makes it so easy to recommend people. You just basically send them a note, and then they can fill it out, which is really helpful. Cool. Any questions, Stacy? Anything specific?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to grow following to become like a thought leadership in this.
Cool.
And so my profile views are around like 300 to 400, and the impressions over like a 4-day period I'm trying to post more regularly is about like 2,000.
Okay.
So I guess it's just like I think the adding talks about those hashtags, and then I was looking up some of the hashtags I probably put on the post are small, so I need a small and big. Any other suggestions on how to grow that? Because I'm competing with folks that have, let's say, 10,000 followers.
Right. Yeah. So growing your audience is number one. I would really focus on getting those numbers up, because the bigger the audience, the more eyes you'll get on your posts. The other thing is to post consistently. I always say at least 3 days a week, if not 5, if you can, and posting during the same 30-minute window is always a good idea. Because then people start to look for your stuff at a certain time of day, or you start seeing, like Amanda and I always see Amanda's posts like first when I open LinkedIn, because we are often posting around the same time, around the same time frame. And so I always say, so the algorithm shows your posts to people who are local to you first. So it's going to show New Yorkers and East Coast people your posts first. So the best plan is to post before people get to the office. That's when people check their LinkedIn. I usually try to post between 8:30 and 9. I think 8 and 9 is a really good window to be posting. And if you don't make that window, post after 3, because people kind of bookmark their day with LinkedIn. And I think a lot of people have good traction when they post after 3 p.m., like between 3 and 5. So yeah, I think if you stay consistent for a couple of months, you'll start to see a lot of growth that way. At least
Thank you.
My experience. Yeah, sure.
Awesome. And if I can't post at those hours, like using some sort of like Hootsuite or something like that, like
yeah,
scheduling.
actually,
they made a new scheduling.
Yeah, you can
right?
schedule right on LinkedIn now, which is cool. I haven't played around with it a lot, but I have a friend who's on the West Coast, and most of her clients are on the East Coast. So it works really well for her. She'll schedule it to go live like 8 o'clock Eastern time or 8:30. And then when she wakes up, all she has to do is engage. And she's been having she's been noticing her posts that are scheduled are getting more traction than her posts that aren't. So yeah, keep that in mind. Yeah, it's really
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah,
this is so helpful.
Good. Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's see. Hi, Steph.
Hey, long time no see.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. I wanted to say 2 things.
Okay.
Well, actually, first is a question for you, Emily. What is your thoughts on using a scheduler though when you want to do first comment and you want to add the link in comment?
Right. That's a great question. So I have always been an advocate of being the first commenter on your own posts. That for a long time with the algorithm was a really good strategy. It helped gain visibility because the algorithm will track how many comments and impressions you get within the first hour of posting. And that's how it determines whether to boost your post going forward. But that has actually changed. So I'm actually not recommending that you post the first comment on your posts anymore automatically. I will do it if like I'm referencing my blog post or I'm referencing an article. It doesn't make any sense to me not to post that link in those cases. But otherwise, I've been backing off a little bit on being the first commenter on my posts. And I think that they may have done that so that the scheduling makes more sense. So don't worry so much about that. Yep. Good.
One other thing is, this is very anecdotal. It might be helpful for Stacy or anyone who's trying to kind of grow more visibility. I've been hearing that LinkedIn newsletters have been getting quite high visibility because it's also a new feature that rolled out. Platforms sometimes like to do that where they give precedence on the timeline to the newer features. So that might be worth looking into.
Yep. Good point. Yeah, I have heard that LinkedIn newsletters, they did very, very well when they first rolled them out. When did they roll them out? Maybe about
summer,
a year ago.
I think. Yeah, maybe like June.
Yeah. So they were doing very, very well for a while for people. And then a lot of people started doing newsletters and the impressiveness of it kind of dropped off a little bit. But yeah, not a bad thing to experiment with for sure, especially if you already are doing a newsletter that you want to just kind of get a wider audience on, then it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, cool. All right, here's Steph's page. You got, your name of your company is your name, right? Steph?
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm a freelancer.
Right, perfect. Yes. So that makes sense to have your name there. That's fine. That's good. I like the little sunshine there. You might consider moving it over here just so it's not behind your head, although it's kind of cool to have the sun coming out of your head. It's kind of like shining on you. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like your photo. It's very pretty and sunshiny and positive, just like your brand. So I think it's on brand. I really like that. Conversion copywriter and content strategist. Great. You've got more real estate here, so you could add a bit more if you wanted to. You could talk a bit about your experience, the types of companies you've worked for, or the types of content you've written. You could get more specific about that if you wanted to, especially if there's a specific industry or genre that you're wanting to go after. I know that one of your goals is probably to get more leads as a freelancer. So talking about, what differentiates you from other freelancers right in your headline, a great idea. You've got creator mode turned on, visit your website. Cool. Yep. That's a good way to do it. Visit your website right there. Digital nomad content strategy. That's great. You do get 5 hashtags if you wanted to add a 5th, you could. Great. About section, award-winning copywriter, best known for getting shit done. I create high converting content for email, web pages, ads, and landing pages, right? So some of this you might want to work into the headline just so it's right there and obvious. Make your marketing work while you rest. This is a great personal hashtag. If you wanted to, like, just make your marketing work while you rest, you could add that to your headline. Just a way to sort of grab people's attention there. You've got your specialties there. That's nice little list. See more, go to the website. That's great. So you've got a lot of real estate you could add here. So, you might want to talk about some of your wins with clients, for example, you could bring in there. I think that would be great as a freelancer. Just again, getting more specific about the kinds of work and results that you get for people. I think that could be really helpful. Or the benefits of hiring a copywriter. Or, you could hit on people's pain points around writing, or creating their own stuff. I think all of that could be really, really good and useful stuff. Because again, you want to separate yourself from other freelancers on LinkedIn. Whatever you can do that. Right now, it's pretty much, what I would expect from any copywriter. That kind of a thing. So think about what differentiates you, what separates you. I know you have that stuff, just add it in. I know you've thought about that stuff. You got recommendations, that's great. You could get some more recent recommendations, of course. Yeah. Any questions? I think it's looking good. Let's see what your audience is up to. Yeah, you could also focus on building your audience. Again, getting to that 5,000 follower number could be really, really useful. Posting consistently is a great way to sort of grow the audience and make sure you're building visibility. You should start to see your numbers climb as you get more consistent with posting.
Yeah, I really dropped off on LinkedIn, so I needed this hot seat. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, that's helpful. Oh yeah, you have your phone number here. I also have my phone number on my profile.
I copied you.
Yeah, not a good idea. I got that advice from someone a long time ago, and my personal feeling is make it as easy as possible for people to contact you. Do I get a lot of people calling me? No.
Me neither.
Occasionally they'll call, but as many ways for them to get in touch with you as possible is not a bad thing, I think. So that's my thought. All right, who's left? Jess. Hi, Jess. Let's see, we've got Jess. And you might be the last one. Okay, great. We're on good timing here. Great. All right. Where'd you go? Great. Screen. Hey there, Jess. Okay.
Hi. Great session.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay, so I like the cover. I think it's not really related to work stuff, so that's one thing to consider. It's beautiful, and what you might do is just add in the name of your company, or add in something, some kind of text, your tagline, anything like that, just to make it a little more really, just to give people an idea of what you do, because just from the visuals, I don't know. And I think it's always good to let people know right off the bat what you're doing.
Yeah.
I help founders find the right words. Okay, that's a great personal tagline. I certainly would add in some kind of title about what you do. Add in Web3 somewhere up there. Talk about how you help with branding, whatever it is. You want to kind of give yourself a title of some kind so that people know right away what you do. Because this could be a lot of things, right? It could be you could be a copywriter, you could be a ghostwriter, you could be a marketing person. Et cetera, right?
Yeah.
So
some contexts is I've just been like,
Yeah.
I don't know the exact answer. So
I figured. Yeah. Sure. Oh, okay. Jess Sun LLC. Yeah. You and Joel, you can get together and brainstorm. Yeah. So Jess Sun LLC, you could put that right up in your cover if you wanted to. something to consider. And again, this goes back to your goals and what you're trying to do. So just making sure that it's really clear right off the bat is smart. About section. So you've got yours in third person. I actually think if you're in the upside, I think Erin's recommendation is to put your about section in third person. Again, like I said, I think for LinkedIn, you want it to be a bit more personal. So that's why I prefer first person. You're a brand and content marketer. There you go. That could be in your headline. Works closely with founders to take their strategies, messaging channels, and content from 0 to 1. She helps dozens of founders solve customer confusion by explaining their products and services properly. As a marketer, she strongly believes in the power of education, approachability, and consistency. This is good. It's a belief statement. You could start with that. I strongly believe in the power of education, approachability, and consistency. You could go into depth with that if you wanted to, with telling like a personal story or telling a story about a client engagement that you had, something like that, just to give people a flavor of your personality and how you work. Marketing philosophies influenced by personal experiences. Child of immigrants. There we go. A former competitive debater and coach and devoted mindfulness student. That's all really good stuff. I think that's interesting, and I like having some of that personal stuff in an about section because it helps you connect with people. So I really like that. Studied marketing at the University of Minnesota. Yeah. So, like I said, I would put this in first person. I would make it more personal, make it more of a story about what you do and why, talk about your why, that sort of stuff. Again, like I was saying to Steph, differentiate yourself from other brand and content marketers. And I know that's tough to do when you're kind of in flux and trying to figure out what this business is going to look like or whatever. But, play around with it. This is a good place to experiment and see what resonates with people. It's not a bad thing. And then of course watch those metrics and see how it's going. I like that you have all of this here so people can follow you in other places or they can connect with you very easily. You might even talk about who you want to connect with. That might be a good place to start, especially as you're figuring out really what you want to be specifically selling. You could talk more about who you like to work with, that kind of a thing. So you've got some recent clients down here. You could add those up into your about section and talk about why they were good clients. That would be another place to go. Awesome. Great. You got one recommendation. You certainly could add more here if you wanted to reach out to former clients or current clients and get them to recommend you. That's what I would suggest. And then of course, getting your audience up would be helpful. And I think, for you, as you're working on the brand and thinking through what you want to do, you can really sort of start experimenting and growing and, focus on growing the audience until you're ready. It's still at the point when you're ready to really go into the thought leadership mode or start talking about stuff. You kind of have paved the road for getting there. Any questions?
No, I've got plenty to chew on. Thank
okay,
you.
cool. Good. Yes, this is awesome. All right, great. Well, thank you everybody for coming. Quick plug for my services. I have a LinkedIn roadmap, which is $500. And what you can do with that is I go more in depth with what we did today. Basically, I go in and audit your profile, give you some thoughts about headlines, about section, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the LinkedIn roadmap. You can find that on my website. Then we also do ongoing LinkedIn services. We do LinkedIn post ghostwriting and strategy services for people. And we could do a 3-month package or we can do ongoing. Those are the couple of options. If you're curious about, hearing more about those, definitely let me know. Yeah, Joel, question?
Can we make space for a very quick round of thank yous or acknowledgements or whatever people feel like?
Sure, thank you.
So I
This
know
is amazing.
this is a marketing tool for you, but it's very generous. Everybody knows,
thank you.
It's been hugely valuable. And I just want to say, out of all the people out there who ghostwrite or who do some of these things, you are so top notch, and that actually comes through in your profile. That's my 2 cents.
I appreciate that so much. That's really nice to hear.
Amazing.
Thank you. Good. I'm so glad it's helpful. And always feel free to reach out to me. You can DM me. You can send me an email. If you have to hop, it's noon now, my time. And really appreciate you being here. But yeah, I can stick around for a couple minutes if anyone has more questions or wants to chat. But yeah, I love it. So I'm glad that it's helpful for others. It's a really fun thing for me to do. So I'm gonna
Thank
keep
you so
doing it.
much, Emily.
Thanks, Emily.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Emily.
Thank you.
I
Have a
also
great
want
day.
to say
Yeah.
the people you got here are so cool. Like I added everybody, so like
Oh, yay.
Yes,
Yay.
make connection requests
work.
from me for
Yes,
sure,
please.
everybody.
Yes, connect with each other. Yes, for sure.
All
That's
right. Have a great
awesome.
day, everyone. Thanks,
Bye.
Emily.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.